Yo, I didn't expect to get as much love as I did on my last video, but hey, man, I really appreciate it, man. I didn't know so many people that felt the same way I felt, and just to see that was just, it was a great feeling because I don't know about y'all, but sometimes like the thoughts I have, I don't want to say it out loud because it's almost like you feel like, oh, I'm crazy. Like, I'm thinking too hard, too outside the box, or I'm thinking too deep into it. So those were things that I really didn't know whether or not I wanted to say, especially about like the rant I had at the end. But the way you guys received it and my true thoughts and feelings, I just really appreciate it. So it compelled me to make this video, just speak on my mind a little bit more. Um, I was just watching a YouTube video and it just brought up so many emotions and feelings that I have that I suppress inside, and it has affected my dating life. You know, um, but I'm going through, a lot of people say you should go through therapy, you should sit down, you should talk to somebody. And my way of going through therapy has been a little bit different than most. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on other people's experience that is going through what I'm going through and listening to them talk to a therapist. And I'll answer the questions that the therapist is asking the person. So in other words, I'm going through therapy on a third party level. You know what I mean? So a dude said something basically along the lines of, why do you hide? Like, what is the person inside your head saying? Because a lot of times when we get around, like, especially when we talk to girls, again, this video is catered to the dudes that, or girls or whatever, that, you want to talk to people, you want to feel comfortable. Um, but why don't you feel comfortable? And I know for myself, and I think this video will really be able to help somebody else too. Um, I know for myself, I hide some, at one point I would hide who I actually am. I would hide the dude that really just likes to be goofy, just really just likes to have deep conversation, really just likes to talk about just random stuff and go deep into it just to, for idea purposes and just learning, and the reason being was that I felt like I was in a situation where I was that, like, I was so openly me. And I feel like a lot of guys have felt this. You was openly you, and the person that you wanted to like who you are didn't like it. They didn't accept it the way you expected them to accept who you actually are. So it's like now you do this thing where you become a character of yourself. You become a version in which you think, okay, well, if they didn't like who I actually am, maybe I need to be this. Maybe I need to be Johnny Bravo. Maybe I need to cut my hair like this and they'll like me more. And I had to really get to the point where I needed to understand that everybody's perception is different, number one. So what somebody doesn't see in me, somebody else would. With the thing about it is, we live in a time where hurt people are raising people. Therefore, nobody's doing the fix to heal from their hurt. It's like we're saying that we heal from our hurt, but it's like, what part of our hurt did we heal from? What part of our hurt did we heal from, or whatever? So I think about it and I'm like, damn, I'm letting hurt people judge me. Because when I sit here and I think about the girls that I let made me feel like it wasn't good enough, these were girls that also had hurt. So their judgment was coming from a certain place. Their judgment was coming from, you know, somebody that made them insecure. So the best way that they would, feel better about themselves is making somebody else feel less than them. And if anybody will feel as if they're more than them, then they would feel insecure again. So I'm saying all that to say, I was letting the wrong people judge me, So it got to a point where I would protect who I actually am. I got to a point where I'm protecting the goofy side of me, the person that wants to really talk. I don't want him to feel bad again. I don't want him to feel bad for showing his face again. You know what I mean? Like, I got to the point where the real me, I would hide him behind doors, and then I'd put a front in front of the door. So anytime I talked to a girl, it was hard for me to flow. It was hard for me to be me. It was hard for me to figure out what to talk about, because I don't really want to show you what I really want to talk about. I don't really want to show you how I'm just flowing and I'm just enjoying, how much I'm enjoying this conversation and to really express myself. And I think that this has happened to a lot of dudes. I feel like a lot of dudes have gotten to the point, and a lot of women too. We've gotten to the point where we let the wrong person judge us, and we stop trusting who we actually are. Therefore, when we're in a situation, we try to overthink what we need to say instead of that thought that you're having initially. Instead of just so basically what I'm saying is, because I'm saying a lot, instead of just letting it flow, you're trying to figure out what's the perfect word to say, because you don't believe that your words is good enough. You don't believe that your side of what you're interested in this conversation is good enough to talk to this person. And let me be the one to tell you, that's okay. That's okay if it's not good enough. That's okay if you're interested in Naruto and they're not. But ask yourself, why are you putting somebody on a pedestal to make you feel like your interest is not good enough? If this person doesn't want to talk to you about whatever it is you actually want to talk about, if they're not making you feel good about who you actually are, why are you entertaining it? I feel like, and we do that a lot. Like, we get in situations where, like, early on, like, my homie, shout out to my homie or whatever, but he told me something the other day. He said that you talked to this girl or whatever, and you probably gonna beat me up for saying this, but you talked to this girl, and when he was talking to her, he wanted to see her outside of work. He wanted to link up with her outside of work, and her response was, "Oh, I'm real busy. Just come back up to my job, if you want to see me." So in that instance, that should tell you a couple things. Like, okay, this girl doesn't want to actually be around me on the one-on-one personal level. So from that moment, you need to have a moment with yourself, like, okay, this person doesn't value who she sees in front of, like, who's in front of her. Therefore, there's no reason to try to carry on to try to convince them to like you, because now you're putting them on a pedestal for judgment. And it's like, I feel like that's part of the problem and why we're not seeing the value in ourselves. Because if somebody else doesn't see the value in us, we don't see the value in ourselves. So I'm saying all that to say, me personally, I remember what it felt like when it was hard for me to talk to people. Social anxiety was whooping my ass. You know what I mean? Because I no longer trusted my thoughts. I no longer trusted the first thought that came to my mind. I no longer let it flow. I tried to think about it and then say it. I want us to get out of that, man. I want us to get back to the point where we trust ourselves. I want us to find out within ourselves, like, what brought us to this point? What brought us to the point of I'm guarding who I actually am? Like, who was the person that made me feel like who I actually am wasn't good enough? And then at what point in time did I figure, okay, maybe I should act like this. Maybe I should be like this instead of how I actually am. I just want to share that with y'all real quick. 'Cause like I said, I do, therapy for myself, over watching YouTube videos and watching other people's situations and stuff. And I just learn a lot. Like, I learn a lot about myself. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, it feels amazing. Like, I feel like there's so much purity and understanding. Like, when you just go about things and just believing in they are what they are, or you just have this perception but no understanding. Like, because a lot of times that we're stuck in our head based off of just random ideas. None of it is actual, like, facts and, like, understanding on the psychological level of why somebody's treating you the way they're treating you. Sometimes people will treat you a way that they don't even know that they're treating you that way because of something else. You know what I mean? But when you have that level of understanding, you don't take things personal. Understanding will keep you from taking things personal, and and not taking things personal will help you look at yourself in a more positive light and be able to trust yourself when you're in conversation. Trust yourself when you're talking to girls. You know what I mean? It's so much deeper than what these damn gurus be saying. Oh, just be like this. Oh, just, you know what I mean? Just be real charismatic. Everybody's not charismatic, you know? It's deeper than that. You know what I mean? It's an inflection that you gotta have within yourself. You gotta have time just with yourself to just really just, you know, just tap in. Like, what is it? What was the shift? What was the change? You know? And stuff like that, man. Everybody coming outside. It's about to get loud. But yeah, man, I just really wanted to share that with y'all, man, because I sat here and I just walked around the block and just thought about that moment where my mindset changed, where I became uncomfortable with my first thought. You know what I mean? I stopped trusting my way of thinking. You know what I mean? You know. But yeah, I just really wanted to share that with y'all or whatever. And yeah. Hope everybody, you know, is having a good night or good morning, wherever you're watching this. But yo, like I said early in this video, I appreciate everybody that, you know, showed love to my last video and stuff like that, man. But yo, more than anything, sit down and ask yourself, like, why are you protecting that person inside your head? Like, that person that, like, right now, everything I'm saying is flowing. This is exactly what's on my mind. I'm not sitting here trying, that's why I'm not really stuttering. It's because this is exactly what's on my mind. And it's like, I don't want to be something else. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to say all the right words or talk with a certain accent. I want to just be, you know. And if I was being somebody else, I would come off weird. Y'all wouldn't feel like this video was genuine. I mean, you would tell, like, okay, this dude is doing this for monetization purposes, you know. Just ask yourself, man, like, why are you trying to hide that person who you actually are? Why are you trying to hide that little boy that's in you? Why are you trying to hide that little girl that's in you? Why are you trying to hide? And why? Like, why? Why are you putting other people on a pedestal, I mean, to judge you? Why does other people's opinions on you matter so much? Why? Like, what happened in your life? When I say why, I mean, like, what happened in your life for that to occur? And then dissect that and think about it. Like, damn, did you see that clearly, or did you just let your mind wander? You know what I mean? And just accept whatever defeat that was. Or was it really a defeat? Was it really a life lesson? Was there a lesson to learn in that situation? That's how I see it, man. Hey, man, it's your boy, Top Boogie. I hope this video resonated with somebody. Again, I only want to make genuine videos. You know, when something's on my mind, I just want to share it with y'all. You know, and I think this will help you just be natural when you're around women. Like, just be natural when you talk to people, you know. That's just how I see it. Hey, man, it's your boy, Top Boogie. Until next time, I'm out of here, man. Peace.